Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got another episode of Strange Happenings for you, bringing your weekly dose of strange. As always, I'm your host, Mikey, the bro host, Bub, and we got Stoner the Loner tonight in Master Control.
Stoner the Loner.
Sir Bro of Diz is not with us tonight, but with us in spirit.
Always.
He's working some gigs. We did have a good time with Diz Bro in Florida on a shoot that we had in the Destin area.
Good time.
It was a great time. So thank you to Stoner and Master Control. We got Ron Father, Flux Capacitor, Born Not to Run, Tombstone. What's up, everybody? Great to have you guys. Big shout out to everybody in the Strange Road Hitchhikers Facebook group.
For sure.
We got some new members in there, all the subscribers in YouTube. And all the people that are leaving us awesome reviews in Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So thank you to everybody there. This has been an awesome week. Last week was cool. We did a premiere with the episode of Mike Cobb.
That was fun.
Last Friday.
That was a lot of fun.
We got to tune in and hang out in the chat with everybody. But Mike actually sent us a care package. He wasn't playing, dude.
No, a lot of chocolate, a lot of coffee,
Nicaraguan chocolate, Belizean chocolate, Nicaraguan coffee.
Some of my favorite hot sauce too from Belize, Marie Sharp's. That is.
You said you had heard of it.
Oh no, it had it all over Belize. It's fantastic hot sauce. If you ever see it in the store, pick up a bottle of Marie Sharp's. That's really, really good.
But thank you to Mike and ECI for sending us that care package. That was awesome. We have some cool stuff coming up this week on Thursday. We're going live with James A. Willis.
I'm stoked for that episode.
Yeah, author of Weird Ohio and a bunch of other awesome books on the paranormal. I think he did
Weird Ohio and Weird US.
Weird US,
so
exactly.
he's done kind of like, I think he started with Ohio because he's from Ohio, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then kind of like branched out and like got a little bit more into, it's got to be, it's strange everywhere.
He's an expert in the Loveland Frogman, which we saw his presentation at Frogman Fest this year when we were helping out with the AV room.
Right.
And met him and Tobias and some other people. But I asked him hey, man, would you want to come on our show? That'd be so awesome. And he said yes.
He's coming.
And we worked it out. But our friend, we have a mutual friend with James or Jim and Jim Bowser.
Right.
So James wrote up a whole piece in Weird Ohio about the Temple of Tolerance and our friend Jim Bowser.
Yeah.
And so that was some of the earliest exposure that Bowser ever had on the temple.
Was Weird Ohio.
Ohio.
Right. I remember seeing that
I feel like
when I used to Google
so many
it.
people found out about the temple originally from that book.
Yeah.
I remember reading that book forever ago.
Yeah.
And it's an Ohio treasure, if you will.
Yeah. It's really cool.
So shout out to James and
looking forward to that conversation.
He's got so much great information. So that's going to be a good one. We're super stoked for that.
Right.
And that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
So guys, come hang out for that in a couple days.
Yeah. We've got some really good shows coming up.
Yeah.
I don't want to tip the beans too early, but just,
Tip away.
It's like Christmas is coming year round. We got some really good shows coming.
Yeah.
Well, just because, it's a little bit out yet. We're not sure, something can always happen that, we were supposed to have Bill Holman on.
Yeah.
That kind of fell through. So I'd rather not
we'll
jinx
get Bill
it.
back on for sure.
I'd rather just not jinx it this go round. But what is it? In the next month and a half, we have 2 episodes that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I'm excited about all of them all the time. But I mean, 2 more of kind of like really in the wheelhouse.
Yep.
And I think they're going to work out great. So more to come on that.
And we got Burton just joined us. Burton,
what's
up, Burton? Happening, buddy? Dude, you're the best.
Same old chilling, he says.
Well, Bub, we can get started if you want. Did we miss anything? Did I forget anything?
You guys, shout out. So you looked on the map? I haven't looked on the map lately on our audio side. We got any people dialing in from any other countries we haven't...
More folks in the UK, Canada. Okay. That audience is growing quite a bit in Europe. Japan, we still have our listener in Japan. It looks like she's still tuned in.
Yeah.
And but yeah, everybody on the podcast side of things, we have a great group of people that are tuning in and listening. And it's hard to tell if we're getting some crossover if people come over from there to watch the YouTube show. But I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see, if people kind of bounce back and forth like I do with other shows.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a
some podcasts-
vagabond listener. I
only-
go from show to show from time
Yeah.
to time and tune in. And sometimes I'll actually leave it on layaway for so I want to build up 3 or 4 episodes of a show. So because
Yeah.
I'll tear through them.
Binge
If
it.
I'm only getting an hour or 2 hours,
Yeah.
I can go through a lot of shows quickly. So, hey, ring-a-ling. Quit
Hey, I'm
calling
not the
me.
only one blowing up.
Jeez. Yeah, Rook.
The last 2 episodes, I've had the audio
Rookie.
somehow turned on my laptop.
That's been funny.
Anyways, and hearing my own voice back into the microphone going, what is happening? Anyways,
So we got Stoner's dad in.
Stoner's
What's up?
dad. All
Trash
right.
Panda. And we got Travis Drum, who's never tuned in for a live stream before.
Hey,
catching it.
Travis,
What's
dude,
up?
welcome.
What up, TD?
Welcome.
And so,
Live from the dining room. Bob Evans is.
hey, if you're at Bob Evans, get yourself a country fried steak and some mashed potatoes. Do that right now. Get that gravy on top. Just
Good order.
watch where you're driving.
Yep.
Don't go past Daniel Boone National Forest. Country fried steak will do it every time.
That was Cracker Barrel, not Bob
It doesn't.
Evans.
I know, but it doesn't matter. A country fried steak is a country fried steak.
Oh,
Anyways, we appreciate you guys and gals jumping in, tuning in. We
Yeah.
got Rolo the strange dog as our mascot
Hey,
as always.
Rolo.
He's been hanging in with us all day long.
Yep. Rolo's been patient.
Yeah.
He's only had a long walk and 1 short walk today.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think we'll after this we're gonna go on a nice long walk with Rolo. But
Yeah. That
he's-
sounds good.
Yeah, he's been super chill today.
Yeah.
But we can get into it if you want, bub.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think we should dive right in. There's always something going on, right? And we were talking about it before the show started, what is the strange road and how we kind of encapsulate a lot of things and we meander through different topics
Yep.
and we're not really set on
We do
one
some
specific
paranormal,
corner.
ancient civilizations. We do ghosts. We do not a lot of UFO stuff yet, but we do have some guests
Yeah.
kind of cooking in that world, which
Right.
we kind of alluded to earlier.
Right.
Cryptid stuff.
Right. But basically anything that doesn't kind of line up with that sounds about right. That would happen in a typical day. If it doesn't fall in that box, that's what gets me interested, right?
Yeah. Like this article here.
Right. This is a great one from the Daily Signal. And I want to say, so this is from yesterday, right? Yeah, it's from yesterday. Investor arrested after criticizing Warren Buffett's funding for Bill Gates' woke philanthropy and ties to Jeffrey Epstein. So this is something. Now let's really just stop and pause real quick. How long has Epstein A, been known about, and B, been dead, and C, nothing's been done about it?
2019. It's
Nothing.
been damn near 4 years, but
Nothing's been done about it. It's the whole
well, what's her head went to jail. They threw us a softball there.
Right. She's a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But nothing in her depositions or court documents have ever come out to name a single person, which
Yeah.
we've talked about this a bit.
what I'm saying is it's a fairly sensational story that's gotten little coverage, little light shed on it, right? Or even the people that were tied to him. But anyway, so we'll go into this a little bit. So the chairman of a corporate watchdog was removed from a shareholder meeting and arrested after questioning Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett's support for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The ejected nonprofit leader's criticism Saturday included Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates' travel with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Pete Flaherty, chairman and CEO of the National Legal and Policy Center, was arrested and charged with criminal trespassing by police in Omaha, Nebraska, even though his name was on the list of attendees for the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting. Quote, I apparently touched the third rail of billionaire politics when I mentioned Jeffrey Epstein's name, Flaherty told the Daily Signal on Monday. I've been involved in shareholder activism for 19 years, and I've never before had my mic cut, and I was never before arrested. Epstein
And you guys, real quick, this video on Twitter, we're not going to play the whole video. It's pretty long, but you guys should go.
You should check it out. There's a full cut that's 6 minutes, I think.
Yeah. What was the Twitter account that had it? We can link it in the description.
We'll put it in the show notes and stuff. But basically, I don't even really want to dig into it too much there. We can really highlight this. The gentleman was there. He didn't bust in. He didn't run on stage and start shouting.
He was supposed to be speaking there.
He's on the list.
Yeah.
He's done this for 2 decades nearly.
Yeah.
He's not.
And he starts going into his presentation and brings up Bill Gates.
Like he said, he touched on the third rail of, how did he put it? I touched on the third rail of, where did he say that? Oh, third rail of billionaire politics. So it's this whole like kind of like, even if you're saying something that's true, you're not allowed to say it. Mm-hmm. That's a weird concept to me. I don't understand it. I don't even like that thought. They're like, yeah, it's true, but don't say it. I don't know. What the hell does that mean?
That means they don't want attention drawn towards
right. Them. And that's what I'm saying. So highlight the fact that Epstein died, was in prison, was in a guarded facility.
The cameras went out.
Whatever. There's so much craziness to it.
The guy that tried to kill him, a week before,
right?
They put him on suicide watch.
Right.
You know, the guy that was was a former cocaine dealer and he was a cop in New York and had been, arrested and was in that jail waiting trial for dealing drugs and building a criminal empire of some kind.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
A lot of things really lined up that failed, and then all of a sudden, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. And nobody bought it. Like, people that aren't conspiracy people did not buy that Epstein killed himself. All those memes that came out were unbelievable.
The guy had
time.
so much money. Why would he kill himself? He's been in a position before like this and gotten away with a sweetheart deal. Why does he kill it? There's nothing on this planet that points to that guy having that kind of like him getting actually put in jail, awaiting trial or something would have made him become so distraught. It doesn't make any sense.
No. And
I still think
Dr. Michael Baden.
You got that much money as he did and that much influence. You pay for a person, you switch somebody out. You go, hey, get me out of here by noon tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll let it look like you had somebody rough me up and that I was in potential danger, but get me out of here.
Yeah, and also one thing to add: the thing with Bill Gates is tied into all the J.P. Morgan stuff that's coming out too, right?
Jamie Dimon is gonna have to I think he's in trouble, has to testify or get deposed or. But that's not over.
But that's all tied in with some of this stuff too.
Probably a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. There's a lot going on with the banking sector right now, right? Just in general in finance. And then you have this kind of smoldering fire that still hasn't gone out. And it's going to be the Epstein stuff, unless somebody actually really gets to it and we really get some which again is
this
a big
seems
ask.
Like a start. This is it's the Daily Signal, which I don't really know.
It's like a Kennedy type thing. It's really figuring out the Kennedy thing.
Yeah.
The only people that are going to figure it out are going to be people that weren't alive when it happened.
Right.
That's when they'll unseal a capsule and say, you can finally know about this now.
There's this mugshot.
Because it won't cause unrest. That's hilarious.
So he got arrested. He got taken out on camera. At the end of this video, he's being pulled out by the cops.
Yeah.
Just because he's up there talking about this connection.
But you know what's funnier? Was I found another clip that shows, I think, before he went on and did a speech, that Bill Gates is at that shareholder meeting. Yes.
That's crazy. So you think he was in the audience when that happened?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Or heard it or was somewhere that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then was like, bring in the cops. Let's go.
Get out the blow dart. No, Bill, that's too aggressive. Exactly. Where are the sharks with laser beams attached to their heads? I'm telling you.
There's another part of this, too. I think this was 1A, 1B. There was another article as well. Do you see that?
I don't know if I do. What are you talking about?
Let me
look.
The bid to remove Warren Buffett as chair of Berkshire Hathaway.
I didn't see that part. I mean, yeah.
At a meeting. So I don't know if this is part of that.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, that's really. So we can go into that, yeah. That is kind of part of it. So. You want to know my location?
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm not subscribing. So a bid to remove Warren Buffett as chair of Berkshire Hathaway rejected at meeting. So a long shot bid by a conservative group to remove Warren Buffett as chair of Berkshire Hathaway failed by a wide margin at the company's annual shareholder meeting in Omaha on Saturday, May 6th. And so this is the National Legal and Policy Center. That's the guy.
Yeah.
So they tried to take him out Saturday, and then Monday he got arrested.
Right.
That's the guy that's where this Flaherty is from, is the NLPC.
Sorry, guys. I think we were supposed to read this one first. And then, so we did these a little bit out of order. That's okay, though.
Wow. Wow. So the NLPC, the National Legal and Policy Center, said in its proposal that Buffett's ties to Bill Gates and his political views could hurt investors as it urged the separation of Buffett's roles. Berkshire has said that Buffett will remain the board chair as long as he is chief executive officer, but once he steps down, a non-management member of the board would serve as chair. Buffett said at the meeting at the CHI Health Center that donations he's given to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation were his money and not from Berkshire Hathaway. Speaking in support of the proposal, which was one of 6 up for a vote, Peter Flaherty, also known as the man in the picture who was arrested at the shareholder meeting, chair of the NLPC, mentioned Gates' association with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and sex trafficker. It then appeared Flaherty's microphone was cut off. Omaha police later charged him with trespassing. Berkshire Hathaway and CHI Health Center didn't respond to requests for comment, and the police department declined to comment. Flaherty was released on a $250 bail. Yeah, man, I'm going to call he touched on a nerve there. They didn't like it.
By the way, Omaha's always been kind of known for a little bit of a, I don't know. I don't want to look too far into that, but that's interesting that it's in Omaha.
I mean, you know what? The whole like out in the middle of nowhere, that makes it all the creepier.
Wow.
When people go, oh wow, they have all this money and they manage so much and this and that. And, you know, you say, oh, he's just out there eating ice cream. He's a good guy. I'm gonna go a little cynical with it and be like, you know, there's a reason that people move to Alaska. You know,
yep.
They want to get away or hide out or this or that or whatever. You know, some people just, not saying everybody's bad, but I'm saying there are certain reasons that people go certain places or set up shop in certain locations.
You mean like Zorro Ranch in New Mexico?
Jeez.
Or an island?
Hit the nail on that.
Pedophile Island?
Yeah.
Like something like that, maybe?
Did you see, just a little segue off of that, I don't even recall who it is, some billionaire bought St. James Island?
Yeah.
And he's going to like basically like revamp it and try to
make it.
I don't know
how are you going to rub the stain off that place?
I don't know how many goats you're going to have to sacrifice, or, you know,
how much sage you're going to have to burn. They're going to have like
probably just going to have to purify that island with napalm first and just scrub the
my God.
top of it, scrape it down like the Nazca lines and start over. I'm not kidding, man. I mean,
yeah. Shit.
You're a bold person to buy that. I mean,
hey, it's a bold move, Cotton.
I mean, honestly, yeah, maybe buy it and set it up just as like a sanctuary for animals.
In 10 years, you know, it could become something.
Do you think there's got to be some energy tied to that place?
That's what I'm saying. You're going to need like a whole bunch of shamans out there burning sage and Palo Santo.
You're going to get off and they're going to
sweet grass
like, welcome you as a guest with a lei and a Ouija board. Like,
no. Oh, no. You think I'm hopping on a Ouija board in that place? Jeez. Satan himself
no.
will come through. I mean, I'm good, dude. The temple out there, I mean, which was kind of made of cardboard.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyways, let's move on here.
Yeah.
Enough about
You want me to do this next one?
Creepy.
Or is this you? Are you doing this one?
I can do this.
You can. Go for it.
Ex-OpenAI safety researcher says there is a 20% chance of an AI apocalypse. Oh boy, been covering AI a lot lately.
I'd say that's a low estimate.
That's
sorry.
You think it's low?
I'm cynical.
I think it's going to take us a while to get there. You know, after listening to Michio Kaku, and how we're really at like the consciousness of a flower right now with AI and the Chat GPT stuff.
Yeah,
that we really need to be worried once it becomes the consciousness of a monkey. That's when even when it's a consciousness of a dog, it's like, okay, in 100 years will it be at the consciousness of a human being? Because that's
I think it'll be faster than that.
Different, 4D level of consciousness.
I think they're going to figure out biological computing, like how the whole like wetware with mushrooms,
the quantum computing,
quartz. You're going to have like these robots running around with like quartz brains and like mushroom, organ systems for sensory. And
well, when quantum computing really starts becoming like a legit, where they have warehouses full of these quantum computers and cooling systems and all that, and then working with AI, that's when things are going to really start pushing super, super fast with this stuff. Anyways, so one-time OpenAI safety researcher is sounding the alarm bells about the decidedly grim sounding prospect that artificial intelligence may eventually bring about the end of humanity. I think maybe, in quote, I think maybe there's something like 10 to 20% chance of AI takeover, with many, for most humans, dead. Former OpenAIer Paul Cristiano told the Bankless podcast earlier this week, "I take it quite seriously." When discussing the possibility of AI annihilation, Cristiano said that unlike infamous doomer Eliezer Yudkowsky, who's been shouting from the rooftops about AI-powered Terminator scenario, he thinks that our end by AI will come probably more gradually. I tend to imagine something more like a year's transition from AI systems that are a pretty big deal to kind of an accelerated change, followed by further acceleration, etc. He told the podcast. So that's kind of what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Is it's going to evolve from the flower consciousness to the dog consciousness to a monkey. And then eventually, like I said, with quantum computers and some of this stuff, that technology starts really, really, right now, IBM, Microsoft, Google, and China have the most advanced quantum computers in the world. And they're just these little tiny things with these giant cooling systems that look like these huge glass and gold copper-plated cooling systems that are just unbelievable. And so that's when all that's operating in the cloud. You're talking about smart glass technology now. iPads, your TVs are all completely wireless. And like an Avatar or Marvel movies that you see.
I saw a video. I still don't know if it's real, and I think I might have mentioned this once before, but it was a TV, and the guy was showing it was a TV with like no power cord. It was picking up power just like a radio would pick up a radio signal.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, am I being, how do I research that even? Like Best Buy?
Yeah.
Power cord not
Amazon
included?
Choice.
That's what I want. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, Stoner. Stoner just mentioned our phones, like those anchor systems. I have one at my desk.
Well, they charge wirelessly, but they still have to be like laying.
Connected, yes.
It's not, well,
it has to be on the cradle.
It's conducting it. Mm-hmm. It's not plugged in, but it's able to transfer to the back plate of your phone, that NFC, near field communication technology type stuff, and charging. But I mean, that goes also to like the roads and how, if we could figure out how to like basically put those, the racetrack cars used to just ride around the track. Right. Same thing concept with cars, or even just take it a step further and say, well, now with your cars, if you could deliver it that in a Tesla fashion of like, say, sending power just like a radio signal because it's a wave, right?
Yeah.
It's a strength. I don't know. I'm not a physicist, so let me side note that. If I was an actor, I'd like to play a physicist, though.
Well, I would not do a great job at that. I mean, you have to at least sound like you're smart.
I mean, that's what the script is for.
Yeah.
I'm not writing the script. I'm the actor, not the writer.
By the way, Ron Father was in earlier. I shouted out before we were live, "Hey, Ron Father." I know Ron Father's joined us. He was visiting us down here earlier today.
He stopped by to say hi. It was fun.
It was great. Good
nice
time.
Nice little afternoon break.
Yep, absolutely. And then this next one, Bub, if you want to take this next one, we're dovetailing off of more AI news.
Yeah, so this one is titled "Why Conscious AI is a Bad Idea," and this comes from Nautilus. And so artificial intelligence is moving fast. We can now converse with large language models such as ChatGPT as if they were human beings. Vision models can generate award-winning photographs as well as convincing videos of events that never happened. These systems are certainly getting smarter, but are they conscious? Do they have subjective experiences, feelings, and conscious beliefs in the same way that you and I do? But tables and chairs and pocket calculators do not. And if not now, then when, if ever, might this happen? So we're talking about that. When, how long? It'll be good conversation. And I think it's something that everybody's going to be keeping their eyes on. Who was it recently? The AI founder at Google like left and was like,
it's getting too weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, could you imagine being in some of those laboratories and walking in one day
In
and
those
being like,
board meetings.
imagine you're in a board meeting and like this robot just walks in, this AI robot, and it literally just starts. Imagine you're in a board meeting. Hold on. Imagine you're in a board meeting and you don't know that one of the people in the board meeting is the robot. And then during it, they go, okay, go ahead and stand up, Jeffrey.
Go ahead.
You know, and this robot stands up and goes full Westworld, and like its face peels back and reveals that it's, you know, this cybernetic AI technology underneath. Like,
Yeah.
like just imagine being the CEO of that company. You're in that board meeting that day. That could happen one day. Be a great way to reveal a product. Oh, you didn't even know that Mike over here was a. Imagine right now if Stoner like hit a button and I just turned into a robot right in front of you. And you're like, holy shit! God, that's good. That's really clean.
I think we're pretty far off from that.
I don't know. They would make them. What's that?
Rollo's actually a robot.
Well,
Like our
Rolo, don't drag your butt on the ground. You got it. We'll take you out
Hey,
here in a
come
little
here,
bit.
buddy. Come here, buddy.
Go down your bed.
Go lay down.
So, because of the concerns, this author of this article said, I signed an open letter put together by the Association for the Mathematical Study of Consciousness, AMCS, following hot on the heels of the much publicized call to pause large-scale AI research. The letter argues that it is vital for public industry and governing bodies to understand whether and how AI systems could become conscious, to consider the implications, and to address the dangers. Around the same time, Anka Rule of Stanford University and Gary Marcus, a leading voice on AI, sensibly called for the establishment of a global, neutral, and nonprofit international agency for AI to coordinate global regulation of AI technologies. I think the remit of such an agency could cover AI consciousness as well. Last week, Jeffrey Hinton, one of AI's pioneers, resigned as Google's chief scientist to join the course of concern. Having changed his mind about the immediacy and reality of the threats posed by the technology he helped develop. In my opinion, we should not even be trying to build conscious machines. That article
The dude
goes
that's on
deep
the
and hard
inside,
for a long way.
the guy that's on the top level of this stuff is freaked out, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to know.
Well, okay.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, sure. Do you want a great analogy to that? Oppenheimer.
Yeah. What was
The
his
atomic
quote?
bomb. Do you know what happened after World War II and the atomic bomb?
He had a great quote.
He was basically ostracized and excommunicated because he was so oppositional to nuclear and atomic weapons.
He quoted the Bhagavad Gita. There's a quote.
I have become death, the eater of worlds.
Yeah. I have become destroyer of worlds.
Whatever,
something along those
paraphrasing.
lines. Yeah. Quoted the Bhagavad Gita. He was really interested in ancient Indian texts and Sanskrit texts and the Vedas because they talked about nuclear type technology.
Right.
So he got a lot of his ideas from studying ancient texts and being obsessed with ancient India. That's why he was quoted the Bhagavad Gita. He had read through so many Vedas about the technology that they had and these crazy weapons, like the
arrows,
the Shiva's 3-pointed staff, the Triton or whatever they call it. Yeah, the Trident. Mm-hmm. And so he was really, really fascinated with what seemed like descriptions of nuclear type weapons and nuclear powered things.
But you're saying we're talking about the guy from Google who is the founder, or not the founder, but one of the developers, one of the early on in this, right? Basically.
Yeah.
He's like, you're saying he's getting freaked out. And again, I'm giving you I don't know. I think that should say a lot, because the people that can develop those powers, they have the realization beyond just the potential of use in the use case, right? They a lot of times you have to look at a dualistic nature of saying, okay, well, here's the good side of it. There has to be a down. Everything has an up and a down to it. We know it just kind of seems part of life. So I think that's when those people get to that level, they can see beyond it and go, wow, this is scary as shit.
Because you know why? We converted into this timeline. You can go to this timeline to create the pyramids, for example, or you can branch off and go to this timeline and create the iPhone. Depends how your timeline or what type of some decisions are going to be made in time by powerful people, inventors, creative people that start moving technology in a certain type of direction. We're moving in this type of direction. At some point, the guy that's in charge of the AI at Google saw a split of the timeline in a direction where we're going, where the potential of an AI threat, he sees it, where we're heading. Now, can we split back the other way and make AI like, in the Iron Man, like Friday or Vision? The type of AI that you use to essentially, help you in your everyday life that doesn't become conscious. I have the word. No, it's inevitable.
We're already going down this road.
I know.
So I don't think there's any turning back from it. And now that I've gone deep into this Dune world and I'm still listening to that on tape every day, I'm like 24/7 Dune.
There we go.
How I am with Lord of the Rings, where I can literally rip off. I have watched the extended Hobbit and Lord of the Rings in one day. all of the movies.
Yeah, and read all the books.
That's why Dune finally seems like something I can get my appetite up for, because I need a lot. Like, I'm a binger of stories. But even in Dune, and Kyle's kind of explained this to me, like, the concept of like where they get to in the timeline where they're starting out with the first book, they're talking about after they've had AI and after they've built these like sentient robots, and effectively they found out that wasn't a good thing for humanity, and we need to more rely on ourselves. And man, that gives me so many tangential references to even thinking about the whole like concept of like psychedelics, and how we were talking earlier about yogis and how they'll be like, you don't need to take psychedelics. You can get there through this mental state, and the whole like levels of, you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But with the AI stuff too, there's also the whole, there's been a philosophical concept put forward of like AI will be so much smarter than us, et cetera, that it'll actually realize that it needs to be in charge of us because we aren't able to be in charge of ourselves.
Yep.
Like it will see it as its duty of sorts to preserve us as a species, because otherwise we're too stupid and we'll kill ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean,
there's a good conversation happening in the chat right now too, about all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll say this. At least I look forward to, hopefully there's an AI when I'm old and infirm that it can take care of me.
Instead of your family having to take care of your...
Yeah.
Yeah. Just light me on fire and push me down the river. Well, maybe not while I'm still alive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I wanted the idea of a forest where you go to die, where it's like a death camp. You camp out until you die.
That could be.
You camp out until you die.
Let's not have anybody clip that.
I mean, not
in
that
content.
It's the celestial.
You broke me on that one, bro.
It's a celestial campground. You're going to go.
Okay, that's a better branding.
You're going to
That's better branding.
Camp with the angels, whatever.
We
But
need to create
there are people that have done it with the like.
camp.
Well, I know it didn't come out right, and even when I know it sounded wrong, but
oh shit,
there was somebody that was doing that for a while with the whole trees, where like they would plant these trees with these pods around them, and that pod was basically your coffin, and all of your biological material.
That's how I want to go.
Goes in
Turn
and
me into
revamps
tree
the
food,
earth,
bro.
Yeah, I don't want a one-room apartment for the rest of my
or a tombstone, just a tree
physical
fine.
form
Carve
underground.
something on it.
What are we gonna do? You can't bury everybody.
Mikey lies here. He's super stoked to be underneath this tree.
I'll tell you what, if Elon Musk really wants to make money, you build a giant cannon that can shoot caskets into outer space.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Send me light years away.
Or you're just,
I want to be buried
or
on.
make you cosmic dust.
I want to be buried.
Take you up there, and
I want to be buried on Sirius or like the Pleiades.
Yeah.
Shoot me off to the Pleiades.
Yeah. Maybe that's where your soul's from. All those strange people, the Arcturian channelers, and you ever seen those folks?
Hold on. This is another,
on YouTube.
I don't even care. I'm doing another segue. Do you remember? This is probably a few years ago. It's so funny because it lines up perfectly out of the back of my house. And when I used to smoke cigarettes, especially in the winter, it's cold out. So I would hang in the back door and smoke a cigarette and hang outside. My wife would yell.
I'm sure you did.
at a certain time at night when I would smoke and look out the back door, I always just thought it was like my eyes being strained. I didn't realize I was actually seeing the Pleiades, and I had never seen the Pleiades.
Oh yeah,
before.
it's pretty cool.
I didn't know what it was, so I just thought, I have bad vision.
Seven Sisters.
I was seeing it like every night. I was like, that's really weird. And then I started reading about it. I'm like,
yeah.
I had ample opportunities to see this my entire life and didn't recognize it or see it until at just the right moment.
Pleiades, Sirius, all those are.
It's interesting.
A lot of the woo-woo folks love to, that's where life originated, and Lyra.
Yeah.
And, there's races of human beings living in the Pleiades.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like, they have been visiting us and helping us out.
I want Walter,
existence.
I want John Goodman and Jeff Bridges spreading my ashes on the beach of
just have a
Sirius.
blowback in my face. God damn it, Walter! Why's everything got to be about Nam?
You got a Ralph's around here. Oh, that's funny. Do you want to do the next one?
Sure. We're way far off track.
We do that.
Hey, you know what?
Come here, bud.
I'm having a good time. That's
Come
all
here,
that
Bubby.
matters.
Hi, buddy. You go, boy.
Here we go. So, scientists discovered gigantic structure under the surface of the moon.
I have not read this one. This is...
The moon has been a subject of awe and fascination for millennia. With its shape-shifting powers and enigmatic dark side.
Pink Floyd.
Yep, absolutely. And though it's one of the celestial bodies on which man has taken small steps...
Still questioned.
We still have big leaps to go in understanding its potential and uncovering its secrets. However, one hidden feature of the moon has been unearthed by scientists in a very, very big, very, very heavy. Buried beneath the south pole of the Aitken Basin, one of the largest preserved craters in the solar system is a structure which weighs at least 2.18 billion kilograms and measures more than 300 kilometers, which is 186 miles in depth and 200 kilometers or 1,243 miles in length. Okay? The researchers who made the discovery, all based in the U.S., posited that the anomaly could be made out of metal from the core of an asteroid or oxides from a crystallization of a magma ocean. One of the explanations of this extra mass is that the metal from the asteroid that formed this crater is still embedded in the moon's mantle. Could you imagine mining that? Whatever that, I mean, it could be like vibranium or some kind of crazy.
That's a huge chunk.
Dude.
That's not a chunk. That's a country.
Get a couple knives, your home chef set. A couple knives made from moon metal.
Adamantium.
Yeah. Some vibranium, adamantium. What if it's some kind of really bizarre metal?
Cooking with Wolverine.
Exactly. Imagine that taking a pile of metal 5 times larger than the big island of Hawaii and buying it underground and burying it underground. That's roughly how much unexpected mass we've detected.
So when are we going to get back up? When are we going to get back up there and do that? When are we? You're good. I petted you a bunch.
Rello, come.
When are we going to get back
down.
to the moon? We're supposed to be going back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when
Very
I say
soon.
we're going back, I don't mean back to like Studio B on Lot 13 of
Jesus.
Paramount Pictures with Stanley Kubrick and a plate full of blow. That's not what I'm talking about when I say the moon landing.
Oh shit. We'll get to that because that's coming up.
Okay.
The groundbreaking the groundbreaking finding was made thanks to NASA's Gravity Recovery and Interior Laboratory, or GRAIL mission, which measures changes in the moon's gravitational field. Data collected by GRAIL can then be used to study the internal composition of our cratered companion. Pretty wild.
I just read Necro's quote.
Interesting.
He said, I, for one, welcome our AI overlords. Please take my job so I can stay home and make art all day.
Yes. That's right, man.
I'm with you on that, Necro, because I have the pie in the sky utopian look of like, I say to Mikey and Kyle a lot here, Stoner, about how, like, if we had AI, and we have AI robots and combines and all this stuff, if it should go out and plant all the crops, and it should make all the clothes, and it should be running all the factories, and people shouldn't be working at all.
Those
and
combines
if you want a Ferrari,
run by themselves now with GPS.
And if you want a Ferrari, you just walk down to the store and you get one, and it's just made by robots. There's no, like, we've gotten to the point we don't need the industrial revolution.
You mine the metal all by robots. There's not people you have to pay.
Yeah.
So
like, if I want to mow the lawn, it's because I want the nostalgic feel of mowing the lawn.
I like mowing lawn.
I'm not saying I don't. No, I love mowing the lawn.
Yeah, you don't have.
But what I'm saying is, you can make it a choice of, like, I feel like mowing it today rather than the robot.
Or you just send your robot lawnmower out there, and you can have a little cocktail, sit on your sunroof and hang out.
I mean, if you gave me two scenarios and I'm at Home Depot and you show me the robot that I got to push, and then you show me the robot with the pool model, I think I'm getting the pool model. I'm getting the robot that lets me sit in the pool.
The pool model, Jesus.
Yeah,
Bub.
I'm letting the robot mow the lawn while
the mojito model.
No, the pool the model of the pool with the robot. Like, over here's just the lawnmower.
Yeah,
and over here's the lawnmower with the little model of the pool, like mock-up of, like, if you get this robot, you get the pool with it too.
Wow, that's it.
I don't think. I mean, it's like Randy Marsh getting the Japanese toilet. I think I'm getting the the robot that mows the lawn while I'm in the pool.
Yep.
That stuff's coming. So when I still worked at Ohio State too, and not oddly enough, but when the war kicked off with Russia and Ukraine, these robots were stopped on campus. But prior to that happening, there are these little igloo cooler robots. We
saw them down there 2 weeks ago, bro.
6 wheels on
one
them.
time.
They come from the Commons. You order chicken wings or this or that.
That freaked me out.
They load up your food in it. It's hot.
Yeah.
It drives from the Commons all across the campus.
Yeah.
Arrives at your dorm. You come down.
Right.
Your food's still hot.
Yeah.
You take it out. That robot goes back and gets another
and you
order.
know what? It stops at all the crosswalks where students walk.
It stops if you walk in front of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And me and TJ sat there and watched 7 of them zipping around on all these little.
They're fast.
I mean, I was
fast.
shocked.
So I
remember reading about it,
even
but
in
I'd
the
never
hospital
seen
itself, like here's another one with the robots. There's when I first started working there, and I don't work there anymore. They have a basement that is just full of robots. You can walk through there at the same time, and they have the same sensors that they'll see you and stop.
Yeah.
But they have their own elevators. The robots ride on them. People never ride on these elevators, or if you do, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Because they're meant for this robot size. And this thing drives around the hospital, and you can call it with these different pads. So when you get a load of, like, linen or a load of trash that's full, you hit what it is, so the robot will know where to take it. The elevator door will open whenever it gets there. It backs up, it lifts up the whole cart, and it takes the cart with it. I mean, big, like, holds a couple 100 pounds of shit.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
It takes away bio waste. It takes away all the stuff and drops it.
Who wants to mess with bio waste? What human being?
Do you know how many miles?
That job?
Do you know how many miles a day somebody would have to walk in a hospital system that big to remove all that stuff effectively and, like, efficiently?
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, just think about that's been going on for 10 years at least.
I'll take that kind of AI all day long.
I get it.
Somebody doesn't have to do that.
That's not really AI though. But that's not AI. That's just programming.
But taking that
AI
to the
is a next
level.
step. AI is a combine that could say, hey, instead of cutting it in this direction, if I start cutting it this direction or this pattern, I'll actually save this much time and I'll get more efficient.
Right.
That's where AI is.
Giving it the pattern to go.
To eventually you're going, hey, there's a new Apple laptop coming out that's been all made by AI because it got more efficient and figured out how to make the laptop better. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. The Industrial Revolution, people being in working,
there's
sweating
a new industrial revolution coming.
That got taken over by robots that you can then use robots, and then they program those robots, and now we're trying to figure out how do we just make them program and how do we make them think so they can do these things. I don't know. It's
back to the moon.
Back to the moon. We are back to the moon.
Back to the moon.
Yeah.
Former head of Roscosmos thinks NASA did not land on the moon. Okay.
And I'll tell you another thing. That hat did not land on his head.
Nope. It's not
still resting a couple inches above.
Yeah. There's like a little plastic band in there. You got to pull that apart to get the hat, the helmet on the head.
Looks like a Little League third base coach I remember with a hat a little askew from my years growing up.
Oh, my God. Don't. Oh my God! But he looks warm though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Dmitry Rogozin was fired as Director General of Russia's main space corporation, Roscosmos, nearly a year ago. He has spent much of his time since near the front lines of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, sharing various hateful, threatening, and nationalistic sentiments on his Telegram account. Occasionally, however, the pugnacious politician still opines about space on his Rogozin at the Front social media account. He did so this weekend, calling into question whether the United States really did land astronauts on the moon. During his 4-year tenure at Roscosmos, Rogozin wrote he asked his leadership team to look into whether NASA had actually landed a dozen astronauts on the moon in the late 1960s and early 1970s. After all, Rogozin reasoned, it was not clear to me how the United States, at the level of technological development of the 1960s of the last century, did what they still cannot do now. In response to these queries, Rogozin wrote he received angry responses from academics and fans of NASA at Roscosmos who did not want to undermine cooperation with the U.S. Space Agency on the International Space Station. As evidence for landing, Rogozin claims he only received a copy of a book by cosmonaut Alexei Leonov. Accordingly, at the end of his investigation, Rogozin said that he does not believe Americans landed on the moon, but rather that they had succeeded in infiltrating the establishment of the Russian space program. Rogozin's doubt about the Apollo program did not surface publicly during his years at Roscosmos, but there were plenty of other reasons that NASA and other international partners found his leadership style insufferable. He mocked U.S. astronauts, repeatedly threatened to pull Russia out of the space station partnership, and attempted to use international facility for propaganda purposes. Well, it sounds like he... I don't know. I don't know if this is a great source. It sounds like he has been trying to derail and send a lot of incorrect messaging throughout his entire career when it comes to space. But just an interesting article there. I don't know how much weight this dude holds. I mean, look at the the safety helmet he's wearing, for crying out loud.
I'm trying to read what that says.
I mean, does that look like a guy that's getting ready to walk into a dangerous situation?
No.
So yeah, he's just, over the years, it seems like he's just had a ton of outbursts. And
who else has been
trying to derail the space station?
Who else has been to the moon? What other countries have been to the moon?
To the moon?
Any other? Let me Google this quick.
Well,
has any other country been to the moon?
I don't think so. Now, I know plenty of people have sent satellites and things have gotten close.
I think this is a scientific experiment that's never been repeated.
What?
Only one country, the U.S., has ever landed a man on the moon.
And you think Russia...
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to call horse shit.
They put the first person in space. They were way ahead of us, dude. And then
Kennedy...
Kennedy gave his speech, and then all of a sudden, we got a man we got a man in space, and then what? Like 4 or 5 years later, we're landing on the moon?
I'm sorry. No.
The Russians were way ahead of us because they had German scientists from their version of Operation Paperclip and the V2 programs. You know, we took Werner von Braun, but they also took top scientists from the Germans as well. So they had their own version of Operation Paperclip and had some really incredible scientists that were so far ahead of their time. And, you know, they launched Sputnik. That was a huge thing. The United States woke up, was like, nope, we need to win this race. And you'll do just about anything at that point of the height of the Cold War. And in those times, you know, there's so much propaganda and from both sides of trying to win that technological race.
It's the ace up the sleeve in a poker game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had Kubrick.
That's an interesting story, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but Yeah. Do I think it's easy to get to the moon? No. I think it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
That's why when somebody says, well, that's why we've only gone this once or twice. No. Sorry. No. That doesn't make any sense. Because if we would have said, so like, Russia didn't pursue going to the moon after we went to it, right? Like,
yeah,
didn't
you
put a man on the moon.
Yeah, you think they would have followed suit?
But we put 12, supposedly 12 astronauts on the moon.
Yeah. Well, right here in Wapak, Ohio, home of Neil Armstrong, we went to the Neil Armstrong Museum in first grade. And so, that's like, what, 25 minutes from our house where we grew up?
Not far.
Yeah, if you're ever in Wapakoneta, Ohio, and go check out the Neil Armstrong.
Check out Bowser's house too while you're
John Glenn's from Ohio as well. Former Senator John Glenn.
Yeah.
So
that's just
a lot of astronauts. But some of those guys, they've had some interesting things to say over the years about their time in space. It's always good to keep up with what those guys are up to.
Yeah,
because one of them really, he's quite open about
Edgar Mitchell.
Edgar Mitchell.
Yeah,
but again, Edgar Mitchell would he talked about visitors and there being people there waiting for them on the moon.
Right.
So do you give any weight to those stories? I tend to feel like it's a huge mystery. It's something that'll never come out.
Yeah,
we don't know one way or the other. This next one. We can head off to the next one. Logan Paul is afraid to release the most compelling UFO video ever recorded. So James Fox, which I watched James Fox's documentary that was on, or I'm trying to get some time to watch James Fox's new documentary on Amazon Prime, Moment in Contact. Mm-hmm. So you have some people like Jeremy Corbell, James Fox. Everybody's kind of weighing in on this, okay? So for decades, public UFO circles have spoken out about a video they consider most compelling that has been mentioned throughout the community. UFO specialist Chuck Clark allegedly came into possession of a video that was recorded by two young men in the early 1990s. Until yesterday, this footage was only the stuff of legend, but documentary filmmaker James Fox just spoke about it in detail. If that wasn't enough, he also revealed none other than YouTuber Logan Paul has a key role in the possible disclosure of the video to the general public. In case you didn't know, Logan Paul has a unique fascination for the topic, and he's invited some UFO community most prominent figures. One of these guests is James Fox, who has two of the most compelling UFO documentaries that are sanctioned by members of the intelligence community, and that new one is Moment in Contact. James Fox, in order to promote his 2022 documentary Moment in Contact, I guess it's not really super new, but James Fox made the surreal revelation during Wednesday's episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. James publicly described the video in Chuck Clark's possession as two young men who had a camcorder and were inside their car in a Nevada desert. He claims that the video shows a UFO just a few yards from the car and suggested both young men experienced an allegedly close encounter of the third kind. As Rogan kept interrupting him because he thought the story was bogus, James Fox suddenly dropped Logan Paul's name in the story. He revealed that the famous YouTuber is in possession of a version of this video. And this guy from Twitter says Ross was Joe Mirgia. Ross was correct. Logan Paul didn't have the tape. But according to James Fox, Paul visited Chuck Clark and secretly recorded multiple angles of the video playing on a television, and that's what he has. Interesting. Okay. And then UFO Watchdog, this is incorrect. I know for a fact Logan Paul does not have the tape. How do I know? Well, he's got Logan Paul's contact info. So there's a screenshot of him having Logan Paul's number, and he probably could just reach out to him at any time and verify it. I don't know what he's trying to say there. How did Logan Paul come to possess Chuck Clark's video? Fox told Rogan he told Logan Paul the same story and how he offered Clark $30,000 to buy the video from him. This gave Logan Paul the courage to go out to the desert and offer an impressive $100K for the video. That's right. I mean, I remember I listened to this episode. but Clark refused as Paul expected. This didn't stop him from getting a hold of this video. As you may know, Logan Paul is very creative, and he convinced Clark to show him the video while wearing a hidden button camera on his clothing. He recorded the entire video, but is now afraid to release it to the public due to the possible legal implications. Yeah, I mean, he shot the video without him knowing it with a button cam. And then potential problems also with the U.S. government. The UFO community claims that the government is known for suppressing this type of information. So far, the YouTuber hasn't commented on James Fox's revelation. That's interesting. You think if it wouldn't have been true, he would have been like, dude, you're lying. That's not true.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go. Who knows? I'd like to see that video, dude.
Yeah.
The original, I mean, a 1990s, okay, late 90s camcorder. You're talking what? DV tapes, Stoner? DV tape. I mean, it's kind of like the hybrid digital. Yeah, kind of a hybrid digital. Right before you're getting into recording on SD cards and full, where you can just connect it into a computer.
Right.
So this guy's got some kind of a tape.
Right.
What's the quality of that? But even though, I mean, it depends how close they are.
Look at it.
Boy, I hope that comes out. But if it's from a button cam shooting a monitor, that's not going to be real. It's going to be all...
Wouldn't imagine it would be high quality.
No, it's not going to be great.
So, I would say it's... I don't know.
But I think it's interesting Logan Paul didn't come out and say, oh, you're a liar, James Fox. Could be something to that.
Yeah, but there's also, I mean, who else has seen this? Just him, right? Is there anybody else? Rogan's never seen it.
No.
Who else has ever seen it?
He just, James Fox just talked about it on his show.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe
Logan Paul offered him $100K for the original. The guy would not come off it. That's a pretty good amount of money. I mean, the guy must really, really have something. And I wonder why he never went public with it. I mean, I know what it says in the article, but...
What did Logan Paul say? He said he would go public with it.
He went out there.
But he said he said something about something would make him or push him over the edge of it. He wanted Bob Lazar to look at it.
Yeah,
he wanted somebody else to verify it.
Yeah.
And if somebody else would verify it, then he would actually put it out there, because he even said that it's not James Fox's tape.
No.
It's someone else's.
Right.
But they gave it to him, and he's kind of the steward of it, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul has said that he would put it out if it was verified by someone. Well, not verified, but kind of given some.
It's like, hey, is there any validity to this?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Would love to have been in that room when they were playing that video back.
Yeah,
but stuff like this, more and more, I think, is going to keep coming out now that it's in the ether of society. Everybody and their brother knows that these crafts are being seen, and so we just hope that all this stuff continues to flow out, all this strange, we can cover it on our show.
I mean, like I said, the whole UAP is the new UFO, the recoining of a term that was, like people are given certain terms to kind of make other people look like conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, they're rebranding it.
Or kooks or whatever you want to say.
UAP is the official Pentagon
UAP is
term.
the acceptable term now.
Yeah. I still like UFO. It rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, UAP can screw off. I hate that. I hate that. Aerial phenomenon.
Yeah.
Aerial phenomenon is
that could be balloons. That's why they do that, is because it's it encapsulates more things up in the sky. I think
we all agree, like, if it's falling out of the sky, it's not a UFO.
That'd be a meteor, comet, space junk.
Right. I'm just strictly worried about things that are intelligently controlled flying in the sky. I don't care about you saw a meteor and thought it was UFO. No, that's what I'm saying. The whole term that you want,
Mylar balloon,
the UAP stuff.
So this, did you want to do this next one? We can kind of tag team this.
I mean, it's just a video, right?
There's an article. So these men believe it's ENTS rather than Bigfoot. So just to kind of preface this.
The Lord of the Rings is a factual, true story. J.R.R. Tolkien really went to Mordor
at all.
And ENTS are real. That's
Walking
it.
Trees, ENTS, aka Walking Trees, aka ENTS. Okay. When we had Joel Thomas on the show, he talked about his excursion to Expedition Dogmen, which is a Merkle Media documentary that was released last year. I watched it.
Okay.
There is a section in that film where Joel experiences these trees moving in a way where there's not wind. It's where these things are just moving and swaying back and forth. There's this giant force that's bending these trees and moving them back and forth. In the documentary, they show a video to kind of best compare to what Joel experienced.
Right.
And actually, one of the videos that we're going to show you is one of those videos that I think they brought up in Expedition Dogmen. So, is this phenomenon that Joel had connected to what we're going to be talking about here? I don't know. It's interesting though. I mean, Joel isn't a cool guy video. That makes up, I think he's a pretty trustworthy dude. And I think, I can take his word when he says he experienced this tree phenomenon. And is that connected with this stuff? So recently, there's been a surge in the number of videos depicting trees moving and behaving in unexplained ways. These videos have captured the attention of two friends who believe these may be the mythical ENTS Tolkien described in Lord of the Rings.
Told you.
And are going out in search of
We already know that Homo floresiensis is out there as Orang Pandek. So we got hobbits, we got ENTS. Who else do we need?
Wizard, stoner.
Right, there he is.
Stoners.
All right, check that off.
Check. Wizard.
Check.
What else do we got? We got hobbits. We got
elves.
Who's the elf? Who do we got? Real elves. Who can shoot bows and arrows and do magic and live for thousands of years.
We'll have to look for that. Okay.
We're not quite living
ENTS, if ENTS are real though.
But look at look at this. These trees are just swaying. Like there's a ton of force, if this video is real, of course, but I mean, there's so many of these type of videos. And then it looks like it just falls to the ground at the end.
It looks like a hammered concert goer in the middle of the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Just ricocheting
like
off
the dude
each other.
that just took too much.
Yeah.
Ate too many edibles.
Like
didn't drink enough water.
Like wandering through the forest.
Like you at Krongbin.
No,
that looks like you at
dehydration. That was dehydration.
There you go. Look at that's actually an ant. Come on,
Mary Poppins. Where are you going?
That thing is moving.
And you know what? This isn't just one type of tree either.
Look at that.
This is pine trees. This is deciduous.
Look at this one.
Coniferous.
Look at this one. It's behind a house.
What other kind of tree?
Now, see,
the
you guys were trying to explain. That looks like a movie set or something.
You still don't get
like
that,
Tremors.
Do you? You don't get that, do you?
I mean, it looks like Tremors, like a giant space worm's getting ready to come out and eat Kevin Bacon.
So if you're in an area like maybe Alaska where they have, say, or Colorado where you have aspens that are actually
there you go. There's
clones. They're clones.
Yeah.
They don't drop seeds. They I think they make a network underground and they shoot off sprouts and keep regrowing and regrowing.
Yeah.
So they're a whole network.
Banyan
so when
tree,
those big forests get hit with real heavy high winds in the tops of the branches and stuff, it literally will make the ground swell like that because their roots are together.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, it'd be like somebody pulling on the top of your hair and your scalp would move a little bit.
But how much wind does wind break in a forest? I mean, there's a lot of wind break in forests.
Dude, in the mountains, the wind.
I mean, that's probably more logical. The ground moving, like I can see that's definitely
incredibly windy out in some of those places.
This is an ENT situation here. Now this one.
Now that's an ENT. That's Treebeard.
That's an ENT.
He's going to Isengard. He's got Merry and Pippin.
And this article talks about people thought it's Bigfoot like pulling up. We actually covered this a long time ago in one of the first Strange Happenings.
But that's not Bigfoot uprooting a tree.
That's what we covered in our. There was one video that we
do. What now? What it looks like is like if somebody were able to carry around a 30 to 40 foot tall, full-grown tree like it's in a potter's plant.
Yes, well, it looks like
they're looking for a place to set it down.
Picking up a tree and walking
there's no
with it.
way.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Even a Bigfoot.
Well, hold on.
Carrying that's a giant tree.
We need somebody that is a arborist or knows enough about trees to give us calculations on the weight of a tree. Because I mean, Sasquatch, he's not a lightweight. He can
He
hold
can
his
move
own.
some stuff.
So
Yeah,
let's
but that's
get
a
down to
huge
brass
tree.
tacks. How much does that tree weigh?
So what we're looking at here, guys, is some of these videos
That's incredible.
They're actually walking and moving. Then others are just massively swaying back and forth, back and forth. And none of the trees around them, by the way, are moving either, which is interesting.
But they're not just moving like swaying. They look like they're moving like they're running around on the ground. Like it's weird.
Like this one right here is swaying to me, isn't it?
No, but it's going all the way over. Look at it move there. Weird. That sucker's moving.
So it does kind of look like it's
falling over.
It's pacing back and forth and then falling all the way over. These links will be in the description, guys, if those who are listening.
Anybody that's ever seen something like this?
It's hard to describe.
Let me know. Where's this forest? Is it in the new Zelda? I mean...
There's a bunch of them.
I want to check it out.
So there you go. Walking trees. ENTS.
I got to say, though, I'd be pretty freaked out if I was camping and I saw that happen.
Tolkien's giving a thumbs up right now, dude.
Hell yeah, he is.
He's excited about this. Looking down. That's an interesting one. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Walking trees. You want to do the Goblin one, Bub?
Sure.
Coast to Coast AM.
Mexican mayor reveals possible Goblin remains found in town. This is from April of this year. A mayor in Mexico left his constituents scratching their heads when he took to social media to showcase what he suggested could be the remains of a goblin that had been discovered by workers in the community. According to a local media report, the very strange find was revealed last month in an online broadcast by Francisco Mayoral Flores, who presides over the town of Huasca de Ocampo. Standing alongside the two men who had presumably made the discovery, the mayor held a box containing the mysterious humanoid-looking remains seen isolated below, and explained the curious corpse had been unearthed in a disused warehouse. In the video, Flores indicated that although doctors and vets have stated that it is a malformed fetus of a cat or dog, he argued that the rather diminutive remains cannot be from an animal since the ears, the hands are human.
Look at that.
Conceding that officials are uncertain as to what the oddity might be, the mayor marveled that many people in the community have speculated that it could be supernatural in nature.
That's weird.
Specifically, Flores suggested that it might be a duende, which is a goblin-like creature in Latin American folklore, or similarly, mystical shape-shifting entity known as a nacal.
The Mexican elf we covered a few months ago.
I don't remember the name of it.
The Mexican president came out.
Remember the name of it?
And the environmental group snapped a photo from a trail cam. But look at that.
So the mayor reportedly went on to
posit.
Like
a really chubby baby with jaundice or something. Like it's all, you know what I mean? It's
gross. I'm sorry, but he said, quote, that if it had been found in another municipality, it would have not been relevant. But Huasca de Ocampo just so happens to be what is known as a magical town that is officially recognized by the Mexican government for its rich folkloric tradition centered around supernatural entities, such as the nacal and the duende. As such, Flores declared there is a cultural and social demand to give it importance. The town even boasts a museum that is dedicated to goblins, which is where the remains are now on display while officials await the result of scientific tests, which will hopefully determine its true nature.
Could be a root or a potato. Born not to run. I don't disagree, bud.
A potato? A potato? Bro, that's a potato.
It's the goblin, Mr. Potato Head. Look at the ear, though. That's an ear, isn't it? That's an arm. I mean, look at that hand. Dude, that's kind of, it's a pretty unbelievably strange potato. I'd like to make some crinkle cut fries out of that guy.
That's unsettling. God, that's gross. Isn't it? Like, what's up with that head? Because that head and that body don't go together.
Yeah, the legs are all like, I don't know. It's kind of like dog legs where it's all, I don't know. That's wild, dude.
I mean, it looks like it's in this weird pose with like its legs crossed up like it's about to roundhouse you.
Yeah.
I don't really like that at all.
It's like doing Tai Chi or something.
That's so creepy.
The goblin died.
Tai Chi, I did that for a semester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was a good
movement
good
of energy.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a prop from Last of Us.
Ron Father, that's a good point.
Groot.
Yep.
Are there Ent wives? I don't know. That's a good,
It's a Groot
great
root.
question.
All right. Well, wow.
I don't know. If there's Ent wives out there, there's a lot of wood.
Jesus. But Steven. Wow. Good one, Bub. Score.
It's the mustache. It's all the mustache.
Last article here.
Yeah. From Yahoo.
A little bit of a local Ohio news. Dr. Bradley Lepper, he's the head archaeologist at Ohio History Connection, has done a lot of good work and some interesting work over the years. Talks about ammonite fossil found in Hopewell Mound Group in Ohio came from South Dakota. Hey, shout out. Paper.
Yeah.
This paper asserts. This one's for you, Burton. One of the distinguishing characteristics of Ohio's indigenous American Indian Hopewell culture, which dates from around AD 100 to 400, AD 1 to 400, is the use of an unusual raw material that found their way into Ohio from across a huge swath of North America. These included large conch shells from the Gulf of Mexico, which we've talked about that,
Yep.
copper from around Lake Superior, we've talked about that, and even obsidian, a black volcanic glass from Yellowstone Park. I think we've mentioned that as well in our episode with Jeff.
Yeah.
In Wyoming, these materials weren't just admired as curiosities. The ancient American Indian people would have believed they were endowed with great spiritual power. The largest array of ceremonial regalia crafted from these and many other extraordinary materials came from the mounds of the Hopewell Mound Group in Ross County. In a paper published in the current issue of the Mid-Continental Journal of Archaeology, a vocational archaeologist, George Colvin, and American Museum of Natural History paleontologist Neil Landman considered, quote, one of the lesser known but more unusual and exotic items recovered from the Hopewell site. The item in question is a culturally modified fragment of an ammonite fossil. Ammonite fossils are the mineralized spiral shells of squid-like critters that went extinct in the same time as most of the dinosaurs, about 66 million years ago. Ohio's rocks are all much older, so the fossil must have come from somewhere else. According to Colvin and Landman, it comes from the Badlands of southwestern South Dakota. How about that, Bert? The fossil is D-shaped and is about 2.5 inches long. The flat side was ground down, which would have allowed the fossil to stand upright. It has 2 holes made through it, so Colvin and Landman suggest it might have been worn attached to a garnet or headband. The fossil shell is iridescent, which, based on documented American Indian traditions, likely made it particularly special. Colvin and Landman note, for example, the Hopi and ancestral Pueblo collected ammonites, and that with those with iridescent shells were highly venerated and used in medicine bundles. Fossils aren't common in Hopewell ceremonial offerings, but fossil shark teeth have been found at several sites, and mastodon tusk fragments in fossil horn corals were found at Mound City, Ohio, and Chillicothe. Never knew that. One of the 8 Hopewell Mound groups that is being nominated for inclusion on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This specimen, Mound City, one of the 8 Hopewell Mound groups that is being nominated for inclusion in UNESCO. This specimen is, so far, the only ammonite fossil found in a Hopewell mound. Wow. Really, really cool. Colvin and Landman proposed that Ohio Hopewell travelers collected the ammonite fossil and other special raw materials such as obsidian on their journeys to distant lands. This certainly may be one of the ways these remarkable materials found their way to the great Hopewell ceremonial centers in Ohio, but I also think that it's likely that the pilgrims, perhaps from far away as Wyoming and South Dakota, journeyed to Ohio, much as Christian pilgrims traveled to Jerusalem and Muslim pilgrims traveled to make the Hajj to Mecca. They have brought the obsidian and ammonite fossils and offerings of thanksgiving or supplication. This would help explain not only how the Ohio Hopewell acquired these extraordinary objects, but also why many of the Hopewell earthworks are built on such a grand scale. For example, the octagonal enclosure at the Newark earthworks could encompass 4 Roman Colosseums.
Wow.
It's big, dude. So these places clearly were not built to serve only local congregations, but were instead vast earthen cathedrals. And the circle's even bigger than that, dude. The circle is the base, the same size as the base of the Great Pyramid. They used to have the Ohio State Fair inside the Great Circle. Mm-hmm. All those early illustrations you can look up of these people with, big circus tents and barkers and people hanging out inside. I mean, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of people can fit inside the octagon or the circle. Pretty interesting to know that there's even now, because, they found evidence that there's the things from places in Mexico, in Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, there's flint from North Carolina that they've found in Ohio. Yeah. Hey, man, burying the mounds and as a part of their rituals.
It could be. Or there was trade.
Or they're trading, sure. Yeah.
If it was desirable material. I mean, if you ever see ammonite, I mean, it's awesome.
It's really cool. Fibonacci sequence.
A bunch of it in Canada on our
nature
honeymoon.
Form. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And
iridescent is harder to explain what that looks like, but when you see
it the shimmer of a seashell. So I have
on the underbelly of a oyster or a clam.
I have huge shells that I brought back from New Zealand. They're big. They're massive, right? And all you have to do is, if you take something not super abrasive, even if you just have a rag that's enough of a scrub to it that it would scrub your skin.
Yeah.
You polish that, it'll keep getting brighter. Because it's basically taking off layers of it, and you're getting all these different layers to come through at the same time. It's like how you used to do the stuff when you were kids, where you'd take a bunch of crayons and color all over the paper,
smooth it,
and then you'd put the singular color of paint over it, and then you would scrape it out. Yeah. And as you'd scrape that out, all the colors would come out underneath it.
Yeah, my kids have those books. They're sweet.
That's the same stuff with that ammonite fossils and shells like that. When you polish them a lot, oh my God. The other thing was bringing those shells back, because they're out of the ocean. Mm-hmm. There's a flight from New Zealand.
They'd be stinking.
Smelled like Bigfoot's nether regions. Jesus. And I had a stick of salami that I got through customs.
Jesus, Bob.
The guy in the airport, when I was going through the metal detector, I set it off, and I was like, it's probably the big salami stick I have in my backpack.
Jesus.
And he looked at me, and no, I have a huge stick of salami in there. I'm going to eat that on that flight. This is a 15-hour flight, man. You're going to need that snack. Yeah, you're going to get meals, but you're going to want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to need something. That was also the flight where we were on with the Duggars and 13 of their kids.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we flew back from New Zealand with the Duggars and 13 kids.
Wow, how strange.
It was strange.
I bet.
I actually, of course,
they
somehow
shoot their TV show
somehow I had an encounter with them.
Did you talk to the dad?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Have I ever told you this story? I got a signed picture from the Duggars. Unsolicited.
Bring that in on the next. I want proof.
I don't have it anymore. Ask my wife.
Oh, she probably has it.
So here's the story.
All right.
We're coming back from New Zealand real quick. We're coming back from New Zealand. I look back as we're going through security, and I was like, man, that lady's hairdo for some reason just stood out. I think it's a facial recognition thing that we all have of, you see, and it made me, at first I thought she was somebody I knew from back home. And that's why it freaked me out. And I was like, I did a double take, and then I saw him, which is her husband, Jim Bob.
Yeah.
And I went, holy shit, it's the Duggars. And Kim's like, what? And I'm telling my wife, it's the Duggars. And so she's looking, and then our other friends are looking, and the next thing you know, it's okay. And I thought that would be it. We won't see him again. But, you kind of have
somehow you got drawn to talking.
You're in New Zealand. Unless they're going anywhere other than the U.S., there's not many flights that go to you. So I should have put 2 and 2 together a lot quicker that they would probably be on our flight. But I didn't until they got down in our terminal area.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, the Duggars are over there. This is so strange. I'm not a fan. But it's whatever. It's you see a reality show in front of you, sort of, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's kind of wild. So I go to a vending machine, and I get a soda out. And after the soda comes out, it was like one of these weird ones where it had this turnstile where it kept opening and closing and opening and closing. I was like, I just broke the soda machine somehow. One of his little girls came over, did some magic, literally just put her hand on it somehow and stopped it. Maybe that's all you had to do is just put your hand on it and get it to stop. And she stopped it, and I was like, wow. I was like, thank you, because that was really annoying me. So I gave her the rest of my money I had from New Zealand, which was just a handful of change to like buy something in the vending machine. And I didn't think anything of it. And I went back and I hung out with my wife and our friends. And then her dad comes over. He was like, that was really nice what you did, da, 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 and started talking to me. And I'm like, I'm having a conversation with Jim Bob Duggar. This is really happening right now. I mean,
that's a strange happening.
You want to hear the other strange happening I had the other night? I think it was a full moon. I went to pick my wife up from the airport.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was nice.
On the way to the airport, as I'm going up 71 to get to 670 or whatever.
Cinco de Mayo, right?
There's a pickup truck. There's a guy laying in the on-ramp to 670. There's a car spun out in the middle of the road on the left-hand side. I'm like, what? That's too, I can't handle that. That's already too weird. Yeah. I got to go. I got to get to the airport. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm tired. Then as I'm driving, there's a car in the fast lane with its passenger side front door wide open.
Driving down the road?
85 miles an hour.
How's it staying open?
No idea.
How does it? Somebody had to be holding it open.
Either that,
the air,
either that, or they were
back.
part of the wreck.
Oh, and his door was stuck,
jammed open.
He was flying, trying to get off the scene.
Cars were coming up behind me, flying up because I was like, there's no way in hell I'm passing this car.
No.
I'm just like trying to stay.
Back.
I'm trying to stay at a distance where I can watch it and make sure nothing happens. But
full moon, bro.
I just got brand new brakes. Believe me, I can stop on a dime now, like if I need to. But yeah, I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, I think the strange happenings are starting to seep into my life.
Yeah, it happens.
And now the strange is just everywhere.
Yep. That's when you know you're on the right path.
Yeah. The way those fellow trees strip is. Oh, yeah. Oh, so that's what they're telling about. Lurks a lot in them. Have you seen that in the chat?
What's that?
A feller buncher. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's the big arm on the machine that goes out.
Yeah.
Literally picks up a tree, will strip it.
Sure. It could be a
That's what
buncher.
he's saying that.
Yeah.
But the videos we're seeing, we don't see machinery in there, and it doesn't look like a tree just picking up and getting stripped.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. I have seen those.
Yeah, it's a good logical explanation for
there is equipment that can do those types of maneuvers, but it still doesn't look the same. Like, again, the tree is staying upright and traveling around. Like, it looks like it's running around the woods. And, like,
right.
I would think out of the range of where a feller buncher could possibly move it. But good point, and I could be wrong. I'm done.
We want to believe in ENTS, though.
I'm going to blame some of this conversational energy that I have on Mike. He made a strong brew of coffee tonight for us.
Very strong brew. Thanks to Mike Cobb.
Absolutely. Again,
thank you, Mike.
That was so much fun. Appreciate all the gifts.
You fueled this episode of Strange Happenings.
Yes.
We salute you, sir.
Yes, yes he did.
And we're going to sign off. That's all we had. We took about 10 tangents, 4 lefts, and a right turn back to here.
You know what I'd like to have? This is my final parting tangent.
Okay.
You ever seen the movie The Griswolds Family Vacation when they go to Wally World?
Yes, the very first one.
And Chevy Chase has it mapped out. He's playing it on the computer, like showing him like the destination.
Yeah.
I would like to get some kind of an image that starts when we start the show that is like the Strange Road car, like on this map. And when we take a left-hand turn, Kyle can just start to drive it off into like a weird area. And we'll be like, oh, we can see it on a visual representation because I like graphs. Like bring it back onto the Strange Road main highway.
Yeah, and here we are back on Interstate.
And like a GPS 75. Track your run, we could track our show of like how far off and how many left-hand.
We got lost in the Daniel Boone National Forest a few times on this episode. And now we're back on the highway, heading back to Columbus. Here we go.
There you go. Let's stop at Cracker Barrel on the way.
Nope. Then we'll miss another turn. Anyways, guys, this has been a fun one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the chat. You guys rule. Born Not to Run.
You guys are great.
Go check out Necromechanimal on Instagram.
Yes.
Killing it with the edits. He does a bunch of cool stuff for a bunch of other awesome shows you guys might not have heard of. And if you go check out some of those other shows, go check out Burton, Local Legends.
Yeah, show some love.
Show some love.
They've
Lurks
definitely
a lot.
done it for us.
Thank you for being here. Ron Father. Who else did we miss?
Cryptid Huntress is in there. You
yeah,
got M
Cryptid
in there.
Huntress.
Lurks a lot.
Oh, yeah. A little secret news. We're working on possibly coming on one of the Cryptid Huntresses show.
Oh yeah,
in the near future. So keep an eye out for that.
I can't wait
We're
to do that.
super stoked to
We got
hang
a
out
lot
with
coming
Jessica
up.
Jones again.
I'll tell you what, the summer is about to get spicy as it heats up here.
Yep.
We got a lot going on.
Yep.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys. And you guys can follow us at The Strange Road. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
To
TikTok.
the singular Stone
Yes.
in Master Control.
Yep. Thank you to
Muchas
Stone
gracias.
and Master Control. And Disbro Spirit is with us tonight.
Always.
And he'll be back on Thursday to help us out with James A. Willis, which is going to be a good one.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to crank that up to an 11.
You know, check out the Facebook group, Strange Road Hitchhikers. Go check us out. Join the Facebook group. Subscribe. Share this video. Share this podcast later on if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Google.
Yeah.
Give it a share. Tell your friends. Tell your family. If you guys like Strange Road, share the love.
Yeah.
We're always looking to hang
appreciate
out with more and more people. And that's it for us. We're going to sign off. Bub?
I'm out.
Good?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Look at Rollo.